discussing the entire thing concerning public finance, we discuss some terminologies that we're using loosely again in public finance. And from there, we discuss GDP. And we even discuss, I gave you a graphical illustration on how to calculate GDP so that we all remember. Because also, this is one of the things that you must have as basis of making arguments in a public finance question. GDP, performance of GDP, generally, you must know them. One of the arguments recently is that our debt to GDP is low, therefore we should borrow more. And the other flip side of that argument is that our tax to GDP is also very low. What is when our GDP is not taxed? This should be the fueling of our GDP. I get it, we don't pay tax. By ratio of us, we don't pay tax. You understand? So if we borrow money and we're expecting also to fund it from the collection of oil, are we not making the same mistake? We are making the same mistake all over again. So when we are talking of restructuring the economy, to go back to how economy works, public finance works, everybody should pay tax. So we now also went to public revenue, and I explained it. I even showed you guys the thing I'm going to start to discuss, and we started on public revenue. And I explained that public revenue can be looked at from two different perspectives, and I also illustrated it. Both your regular salary and every other savings that you get and offer that you get to make you define the wider perspective of it. But the narrow perspective is just the money that you make. And we are the issue of the public revenue, the tax area, and I explained sign rate, the issue of public revenue from public corporation such as NFPC, that the money is ending up somewhere. Administrative penalties that we pay, for example, if last man catches you in Lagos, you pay money, that's not tax, that is administrative penalty. If you don't say to catch you, you will pay. If you if you go to court and they find you, you will pay. And for example, those people that forfeited their money, we say everybody's let's talk of taxation. Taxation is, like we said, is a compulsory thing. I explained last week that taxation is not the issue of, we keep arguing from a moral perspective that if we wait for them to do well before we pay tax, that the money we are paid, they've not done anything. But that argument is just moral. The ethical thing is that you should pay your tax. And remember what we said in the governance and ethics class, that ethics is different from moral, Do you understand? Ethics is different from moral, sorry. Legal is different from ethics. That something legally, yes, you can get away with it, but moral is just, you can't do that. Do you understand? So, most times, and I said again, that taxation is basically what creates a binding relationship between us and government. And I use the term the contract to explain that in going into a contract is not binding unless there's a consideration. Am I right? So between the citizen and the government, the consideration is tax paid. If you do not pay tax, you have no binding relationship. Some that are complaining, Nigeria is bad, Nigeria is this, have you paid tax? But also, there are things we call the canons of tax, or taxation. Canons of tax. That these are the things that taxes are built on. Government should collect taxation, but they should build a system that is good. And these canons are what taxes is built on for it to be called a good tax system. One of them is the canon of equality, equity. What is equity? Fairness. It will not be fair for you that is earning 10,000 to want to pay the same price as somebody that is earning 1,000. Without fairness, it's not fair. It's not even equality. is not right. You understand? That you should do that. So the tax of any country should have those things in perspective. For example, VAT. VAT is some items that are essential are not vatable because we believe that VAT will be on those things that you only consume because you want to consume them. I mean, there's no VAT on food. If you are selling food, you don't pay VAT. I mean, you don't pay VAT if you are selling food. If you are selling stable food, you don't pay VAT. Who knows the law concerning that stable food? We are not in tax. We are not in tax. But the issue is that anybody that is selling things that are essential, books, if you are doing books, you cannot pay tax. However, if you are doing luxury, go and watch cinema. Are you not supposed to pay tax? Kind of certainty. One of the other things concerning tax is that you must know what you are going to pay. It must not be arbitrary. You understand? And have you experienced it when road safety will stop you? They will not want to give you that they are charged sheet. You understand? Because that's a fine, not tax. You say, I want to know it. The person can decide and say, okay, you're even insulting the Bob Marshall, you know what they call themselves, and give you another one. But in terms of payee, for example, you should be able to know what you are supposed to do. There's a calculation. The calculation I use, the same tabulation is to everybody. Is that not right? That is the certainty. Another one is the convenience. Collection of tax must be convenient to both the collector and the person that is being collected from. If it's not convenient, it has also falls short of the canon of taxation. And there's the issue of the canon of economy. To collect 10,000, you should not spend 10,000. Are you getting it? NNPC, NNPC should be economy such that there should be value for money. Usually the ratio you is supposed to be 10 to 1. That's every 10 naira you should only spend maximum of 1 naira to collect it. So every 10 naira we should spend maximum 1 naira to collect it. That's the only way you can have 9 naira surplus to use it to do whatever you want to do. I mean, excellent. So, this is a graphical illustration of the different types of taxes. We have the progressive tax that changes as income increases. We have the regressive that changes, that reduces as income increases. We have the proportionate, the one that, irrelevant of the amount of money you are making, is stable. Now, payee is progressive, I mean. VAT is proportional. VAT does not have the cost to how much you are making. As far as you are buying Coke, if I'm making 10,000 naira a month and you is making 1 million naira a month and we buy the same Coke, we are paying the same 5%. Am I not right? Yes. Therefore, it is proportionate. And we have the digressive, the one that fix and stabilize at a particular rate. We have those kind of ones in Nigeria. But we don't have regressive. We have basically not any regressive tax in Nigeria. Anybody knows any regressive tax? Tax that the more you make, the lesser you pay. Sorry? No, we have some regressive way. We have some way you can get into the regressive line. For example, if you want to reduce the amount of money you are paying if you are self-employed. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let's go to the issues of sources of revenue at different levels of revenue. We agree that basically the revenues of government is taxes and non-taxes, and we'll explain the issue concerning tax and have an idea of what the non-taxes are. Now, in our first class when we were talking federation, we said that there are different types of government. There is anarchy, there is oligarchy, there is all those kind of government. But we also now explain the kind of way government is formatted. that government can be formatted as confederalism, where the center is just existing and the support the ones outside the center. And I use the word state, but the other units outside the center are stronger than the center. For example, when we used to have USSR was a confederation, and that's why they are breaking into all those small fragments of Uzbekistan, Azerbaijan, Stan. It's easy. And we said that if you have a very strong center that makes policies for all the components, that's called a unitary kind of government. And we explained that unitary kind of government, which country knows kind of government that you know? When you say one unitary kind of government, that the center is very strong. It's very funny because in Britain they are like us. They are not one nation. That's why they are called United Kingdom. But in Nigeria, we are running a federalism kind of government. In a federalism kind of government, basically there is the relationship between federal, states, and local government. And based on the relationship, responsibilities are defined. Some of the responsibilities defined for federal government and only for local government are all those things that we say they are on the exclusive list. Federal government alone can decide on war. Only federal government can fight external aggression. Are you getting it? Only federal government can talk of security. Only federal government can legislate on aviation. Those things that bring all of us together. Whereas the local government should have been in charge. I use the word should have been because the state technically have taken all the functions of local government away from the local government. And ladies and gentlemen, that's the beginning of our country. That's the beginning, except we go back to the level where the local government are powerful. So local government should be, for example, in charge of cemeteries, yoke for destitute and the people that are infirm, market, sewages, all those things are supposed to be issues of local government. Now you can see that the state technically, in the constitution of Nigeria, the state is not really recognized as a federation unit because the local government should come together to form a state. The states are seen as just a coordinating unit. The local government are supposed to be very strong. And I think anybody that witnessed 1999 will remember between 1999 and 2003, we have very strong local government chairman. We have some very strong ones. And now, let's start with the federation. What are the sources of revenue in the federation? Now, remember that the federation is the states, the local government, and federal government put together in the same pool. It's different from federal government. Federal government is an entity. The federation is what are the revenue resources for the federation, for the entire household. Do you understand? What are the revenue resources for the federal government? What are the revenue resources for the state government? And what are the revenue resources for federal, federation, federal, state, and local government? They are sources of income. Now, federation. Federation is also where the federal government, the state. Now, immediately we came together as Nigeria. We came together as Nigeria in 1914, but majorly by 1961 we decided to continue living together. There are some revenue rates that we decided that must be brought to a common pool because of some ideology. That, for example, the mineral resources in Niger Delta, they did not work for it to get, it was just found to get. The mineral resources in the north, not the north has solid mineral, not the north has solid mineral, they've not even exploited it at all. While the south have the crude oil. We not like in Ondo State has the largest bitumen deposit. It never started, not started looking at. Nigeria is so rich, Abi. It's so rich. So let's look at those revenue sources for the federation account. Now there is one, what we call the consolidated revenue fund, where all the money comes to, and the special account where we pay all the money concerning VAT into, and the one for education tax, and the third technology tax. How many are about technology tax? From all these MTN, everybody they pay money for, we are going to get there. So, section 162 of Nigerian Constitution establish account where all the revenue of government will be paid. That's why it is called a distributable pool that is shareable among the three levels of government. Those monies, we are going to identify them, that are made from those ends are specifically sent to that federation account for it to be pooled together, then shared amongst the three tiers of government. What are those sources? One is direct taxes. All the taxes of companies are pooled together. Stamp duties of companies, petroleum profit tax, capital gain tax on companies are pulled together and paid as one into the Federation Consolidated Revenue Fund. The indirect taxes, all the taxes we impose on import and export, custom and excise, they are all put together and paid into sub-head 2. All the money we make from mining, all our revenue from sale of crude oil for domestic consumption, sale of crude oil for export, oil pipeline licensing fee, rent of oil wells, rent of oil grounds, royalty for extraction of oil, penalties for gas flaring are all supposed to be pulled into sub-head 3. Now, these three major heads form what we call the Consolidated Revenue Fund. Please note them. We are going to test classwork. However, you should note those three heads. Whereas the special account, we have the special account for VAT, and we know what VAT is all about. I think VAT is clear to everybody. VAT is clear to all of us. And we have education tax. All companies pay 2% as education tax, which is aside from their VAT, and technology tax. 1% of profit before tax of companies that have annual turnover above 100 million and above, operating as GSM service provider or telecommunication company, cyber company, internet provider, pensions manager and pension-related company, banks and other financial institutions, insurance companies should pay 1% of their profit. We are supposed to use it to do our National Information Technology Development Fund. Because we have seen that technology is going to provide, we are supposed to start developing a technology hub around Nigeria where we have people to start learning and start understanding the use of technology as modern day tool for businesses. But we are not yet there. Unfortunately, the world has become very small. Competition is more fierce now. I was talking to a friend and told me he was bidder for a job. It's not a bidder for a job. He was recorded for a job. Like when they come for a couple of them for an interview talk as a CFO of a multinational. And when they got there, they were one Nigerian, one Kenyan, one Zimbabwe guy, and one South African. No two countries. All of them in the same office explaining trying to say they are the best for the job. Meaning that competition is no more the person in your door, what they call it, what they call that, your next door neighbor. Before now, when you go advertisement for job, it's not people around you that will go for job now. But now job is advertised, you can see it, you can get job. I know people that got job right from here and they got job in the US and they have to move and all that. So things have moved. In Nigeria, God will help us move. So those are the special accounts. Now, this special account, I'm going to talk about them more. How, for example, how value-added tax is shared. Value-added tax, how to pay to share them. The education tax is not really shared. It is given to the state, to the universities, both state and local government. I mean, it's part of what is used to fund our bank, our education trust fund, so the tertiary trust fund, all those schools you go to, you see Tech Fund 2010, Tech Fund 2000, it is from this money that they decide and say we should build all the classes, because imagine this thing was done in 2003. We saw that time that education was bad, they wanted to invest, I mean, they started collecting money, this 2%, only need to, still we are still far from it. The same thing for the technological fund. It's supposed to be a hub of fund that people, all these guys are starting the, what do you call them, internet hubs, I mean, entrepreneurship hubs that have internet services and all that. That should be benefit from it. I don't know what is happening. Now, federal government keeps its own money. We have spoken concerning what federation keeps, I mean. We have spoken concerning what federation keeps, I mean. Now let's talk of what federal government keeps. Federal government also has its own account, and that's why the argument concerning having accountant general for the federation and accountant general of the federation is kind of won't be valid, because federal government also has its own consolidated revenue fund, where it keeps all the money it collects to as federal government. And what are those money? One is the federal government to take its own share of the federation account, which is 52.68%. As at now, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to tap the percentage. Anytime the question comes concerning the federation account, the percentage will be given to you in the exam. Do you understand? Don't be crying. Now, there are direct taxes that federal government collects. Federal government collects personal income tax of members of the armed forces, police force, residents of FCT, staff of Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and non-resident individuals. In terms of indirect taxes, federal government will collect with no withholding tax. If you look at what you call it, the federation account, we pay the one for company to federation account. Federal government will collect. But now, notice something, and I want you to get the distinction very clear. Federal government collects just like what the state do collect. State collect everything related to individuals. But federal government collect for individual residents in FCT too. Because FCT is deemed to be the federal government territory. We want to make it such that nobody can claim that this is our land. There are licenses. Now federal government collects license from income relating to all other mineral resources other than oil. Now this is where the contention is. Why should the federal government be in charge of mineral resources even in states? You understand? Those are the issues that we talk concerning. If we are going to restructure this economy, I mean, those things will not be put in the hand of federal government. And federal government also, yeah, anybody want to ask a question? Fees. Government collects fees. That's why, for example, in every state there is federal high court, I mean, and there is states. So if you have issues, you pay your court fees and all those things. And government also, they do investment. They really do also do investment. So that they can earn interest on investment and can receive dividends. So it also earn money from there. So you can see that we have almost the same head that you have in federation. However, the money being collected are different. Now, the state. Just like we have a federation, we have a federal, the state also has its own sources of income. And the constitution also says that every state should create its own CRM, Complementary Revenue Fund also. Just like we have for the federal government and we have for the federation. But the money that the state collects are basically in two forms. One are those federal taxes that the state collects. They don't make the law, but they do the collection. The other ones are the ones that are taxes that the state makes the law and imposes. Now, so let's differentiate between the two. For example, personal income taxes is federal government, or let's say the federation, that make the law. That means the tax I'm paying in Lagos is the same tax the person that is in Osogbo is paying, Abi, and the same tax the person in Port Harcourt is paying. Is that right? Should that be? It should not be. You're likely concerning federation, Abi. But I'm saying we are doing fiscal federalism, Abi. If we are doing fiscal federalism, meaning that every state has its own revenue and own expenditure, Abi. Therefore, the state can decide that if you are coming to our state, this is the kind of tax you are going to pay. Maybe their needs are different. Let me give you an instance. I'm sure if Lagos State has a way, they will impose a lot of taxes on schools in Lagos State. Do you understand? Because every corner there's a school, I mean, aside from churches. School is also the second one. Everywhere you go to, there's a school. Now, if you go to Zamfara, there are no schools. Zamfara will not mind you coming to establish a school and don't pay any tax. Am I right? So Zamfara can decide and say, don't pay tax, just come and establish a school. But Lagos cannot afford that, because Lagos says so, even everybody will start doing crash in their houses. So you can see that the diversity also is also so also is the withholding tax for individual. Withholding tax is a federal government, a federation tax law that says that, for example, if you are an individual, you pay 5%, if you are a company, you pay 10% withholding tax on any supply job you do. Capital gain tax is also a federation tax that is collected by the state. Stamp duty is also a federation tax that is collected by the state. How many of you are aware of our new fight for stamp duty tax? Have you seen it in your bank statement? Now, what are those taxes or fines that the state, part of the tax that the state internal revenue services do collect? I think I'm not from your office before. The office is full compliant. They will always come for a year. Every, I think, before 31st of January now, we send the subscribe notices. 31st of March. They come twice in a month. Lagos State is not joking. And Lagos State have made the job of accounting a bit easier. Okay, people are not this one. Lagos State makes the job of pre-accountant a bit creative. Because when they go to disturb people, you understand, the person will run to you. And it's you that will now help the person to defend the matter. So, money will come. So they usually collect this money as part of their own revenue. You understand? So if you look at Lagos State budget, you see payee, estimation of payee. The amount of people in Lagos State are paying, they are doing payee. The one for direct taxation, withholding tax and all. Those are from, but there are the ones that they legislate on directly. For example, pool betting. I think it's very big in Lagos now. Lagos State was the first state to properly capture this thing of full betting. No full company can escape Lagos State. You can escape any other state, but you cannot escape. Lagos State collecting money from money. All the other states that are still playing, I mean, Lagos State is collecting their money. Road tax, business premises registration, I mean, I'm sure you are all those ones, I mean. Development levy, but the state can impose a development levy. And we saw it before recently, some states, they were imposing it very well. Like Cross River State did it at a point, they did impose it. If you naming streets on the state capital is basically state will charge you the amount of money you will pay. Right of occupancy of land, this is one of the issues when we talk of the issues of land ownership in Nigeria. It is the state that has the right to market taxes, and where state finance is involved. I must explain this because although it came in those who used to do government accounting, it was a question, and at that time maybe I did not know, and it came as a question, and the question was like a case study asking them concerning the market that was built by the local government through the financing of the state government and the responsibility of local government and state government. And because by default, market is basically for local government, a lot of people, even me that was a lecturer, failed. Because I don't know. Later on, when I now saw it that the law is that if the state finance the market, the state has the right over the collection. Let's give an example. And that thing is technically being done by Lagos State around Lagos. People are not noticing. Take the Ocean Market. Belong to that particular government body. So what did Lagos State do? Lagos State came, refinanced and rebuilt it. Now it's being sold by Lagos State. Ikeja Mall. Ikeja Mall used to belong to Ikeja local government land. Do you understand? Lagos State came and said, no, we are not going to. And collaboration with the third party will build Ikeja Mall. Technically, no more in the hands of Ikeja local government. Do you understand? We are doing it all around. How many markets do you know? Alade, the same thing now. Yeah. To cross the bank. Alade market, what you mentioned in Abi, same thing they are doing. Lagos State are taking over, rebuilding it, and technically taking these powers away. Also, the same thing now, everywhere, once they have come, put their finance in it, the law allows them to be in charge of collection. Are you getting it? Now, hotel, restaurant, event center consumption tax, where applicable. Lagos State has carefully instituted the consumption tax. Although the artists were fighting Lagos State, but Lagos State have made it. So any of those shows that they do, they will pay Lagos State money. Can't just come and say they are doing entertainment tax for applicable, environmental fees levied. Now, mining at this level is majorly for quarry. All those quarry sites. I think Oyo State has a lot of quarry sites more than Lagos State. So they will benefit more from the sites for quarry. Animal trade tax. Animal trade tax. How many people have been to buy ram, or when we go to buy ram, you need to pay one money like that. 15 naira. Also imposes produce sales tax. Produce sales tax. Now, the farmers in Nigeria, when the farmers are best, they pay some taxes to the state government when they are moving their goods to the market. I hope you are aware. But it's a very minute tax, but they do pay. The same thing for slaughter. And the same thing like slaughter and abattoir fees. You know, abattoir is also for the local government, but like you said, if the state government money is there, the government will also take it over. They can be in charge of infrastructural charges and levy, fire service, economic development levy, social service contribution, signage, and mobile advertisement, property tax. land use tax, land use charge, etc. Now, what are the ones that the local government can collect? Local government can collect shop and kiosk, tournament rates, off and on and off liquor license. Who knows what between on and off liquor license? Now, if you go to park and shop, I mean, park and shop, I mean, shop right, I mean, okay, shop right. Yes, park and shop now. Yeah. For shop right, I'm going to say shop right. If you go to shop right, there's a liquor section, I mean. When you buy drinks there, you are not allowed to sit and drink there. You have to take it away to your house to drink. That is off liquor license. Buying drinks and taking it away. But if you are allowed to sit down in that place and consume it, that is on-site liquor license. The licenses are different. The licenses are different. Therefore, all those beer parlors that people sit in night, they should pay on-site liquor license. And the ones that you buy and take away, all those other ones pay off. Now there's slaughter staff fees. Every time you slaughter an animal, local government wants to collect money from you. Why we are not born in Nigeria? But that is the law. They want to charge you for slaughtering. So local government have made a lot of money during Salah and New Year, because slaughtering animals in your house is an environmental hazard to other people, because you have to dispose the blood. Who disposing the blood into the not people talk away the open way. They just wash it with the open seaway, and you during Salah you start seeing blood is on the street and everything. They should charge you to even kill. If you are outside the country, if you are in places like UK during Salah, you can't say, because you go to the abattoir and you seal your, in fact you need a license to be able to kill. So what they will do to you, what they will do for you in the UK is that they will give you the knife, so that you know people that want to pray, they want to pray, you will give them the knife, but you not you can watch. You can now slaughter yourself. So they want to pay. And when they after they are slaughter, they take in the animal. When they are bringing it back, they bring out the skin, everything done for you, and carry it to your bag and take home. That's the best you can do. But dragging the goat to your house, and the mother will follow you to slaughter it. You have to be, I don't know who, you have to be extremely rich. Now, the one that you are aware of is marriage, birth, and death registration. I mean, local government is in charge of now fully. I mean, naming of streets, right of occupancy, market facilities, motor park levies, all those are bureaus that are collecting money. That's the local government money they are collecting. Every park will pay local government money. Anybody that has a dog in their house will pay local government. If you have a dog, a cat, if you have a license, you have it at home. Are you getting it? Ordinarily, you should buy your dogs from a vet that will issue you the license. Except you are going to consume the pet. Yes, for that color, but all those bicycle truck, wheelbarrow, all those fees should also be collected. Look at the cattle taxes, every cattle farmer is paying taxes, management and roads, and television license fee. I'm sure you are aware that local government also collect that one too. All of you have radios in your house and television. You pay. You can see all the levels, and also I've explained to you the levels of money local government should be able to collect. That they are not collecting, that if they are collecting, is a lot of money that can help the government. They are not here talking on argument. They like to argue for the part of their law. Vehicle radio license, public convenience and sewage disposal, customary burial ground, religious places, signboard and advertisement, wharf parking charges where they are applicable. So, ladies and gentlemen, a small assignment that we will use as homework and class to start. When we come in on Saturday, that will be the first thing we are going to solve. Distinguish our work on that. Let's distinguish between federation account and federal government revenue account. One. From the information presented below, that Nigerian office prepare the federation account. Export duty, import duty, excise duty, VAT, company income tax, sales of crude oil, capital gain tax, issue of tax residence, rent on federal government secretariat, license on GSM, payee or foreign. Between federation account and federal government revenue account. By the grace of God, we see on Saturday.